Hello. I see that some of you are here. Hi, welcome. Can someone just type in the chat and make sure that you can hear me? Yay! Okay. So it looks like 11 people are here right now. Yes, also Nif is here. He's having a little bit of like a kitty cold, like a little respiratory thing. So he's extra clingy. So he might spend a little time with us today because he just wants to be cuddled. And I think he's feeling a little bit better. But of course, this happens on the weekend and the vet is not open. So, yeah, that's just a little update on him. But yeah, I see lots of you from all different places. I see someone from the UK and lots of people in the US. So I'm hoping um Georgia also not in the US. Awesome. I'm happy that this time is at least sort of working for most of you. It's always challenging to try and find a time that suits everybody because obviously time zones and all that stuff. I'm seeing so many people here. I see that Hand Knit Letter is here. Sarah Walgren is here. So many of my online buddies. So thank you so much, guys, for coming. I'm a little nervous because, yeah, there's been such a huge outpouring of support in regards to this knit along, which is it's like 11 p.m., but we can't all be awake. Yeah, I'm excited just because so many of you are excited about this too. It's a little intimidating also because I've never run a KAL before. Yeah, but I feel like we're just going to learn as we go, and that's all we can really do. So yeah, I don't know if what I should start doing just because I want to give people a couple minutes to be here. I think I have to put you on the ground. He doesn't want to be separated. Maybe he'll settle down. I know, all the kissies. I feel so bad for him that he's just feeling a little under the weather. Yeah, he's our old boy, so sometimes he just doesn't feel so good. And I've told you guys before he has really bad allergies. So uh yeah, just seasonal allergies. Ah, Kayla is here, who is her handle is Upstate Knitster. And yeah, I really feel like I owe Kayla so much. Um because she bought me this pattern, the Pelica pattern, and it got me thinking. She mentioned something about a knit along, or I forget what really happened, but it it made me inspired to yeah, to do this. So that's exciting. And Madison's here and Mo is here. Yeah. Okay, so I guess I will start by saying or confessing that I did cast on earlier. I started reading the pattern and just got a little nervous that maybe I couldn't do it while I was streaming because obviously I have to pay attention to the chat and do stuff at the same time. And I saw that it said something about like a provisional cast on, and I was like, oh God. But it ended up being really easy. It just is like a provisional long tail, so then you can go in and pick up stitches. Yeah, it can be intimidating to cast on just yeah, on your own, like counting and stuff. I cast on early, yeah. I think it's like we're nothing is set in stone in this knit along. It's not like that serious. There's no like, if you started a few hours early or like whatever, I'm not the like cow police. So it's okay. I think someone else commented on a video being like, is it okay that I cast on like a little early? I'm like, it's fine. It doesn't matter. I can't um yeah, be like bothered to figure it out. But here is what I've done so far. And I have, oh, of course, there's a hair. I have this little sheep marking my front side or right side. I don't know if you can see it. It's like one of my favorite things I have is this little sheep. It's so cute. Hold on, what are people saying? Yeah, provisional cast on always takes me a couple tries. It's not like it's just a long tail cast on because that's what I was worried about too. I thought it was going to be like, like a crochet cast on, which I also always get a little nervous about, but it wasn't. Um, oh yeah, and Mo is saying using a barber cord for provisional. I think that's really smart. Yeah. So Amy says, I found long enough waste yarn in my bag because that's what happened to me too. I went to cast on and then I was like, oh, I need scrap yarn. I don't have any scrap yarn with me. Um, so yeah, just fair warning. If you haven't cast on, you just need a little scrap. I know so many people are swatching. That's awesome. I'm really happy that I did swatch. If you haven't seen my video that I put up yesterday, I did do a second swatch. So that's that little guy here on, oh, hold on, there we go. This little one in my right hand. It's confusing because what I see of myself is like a mirror instead of, yeah, I don't know, or it's not. I don't know. It's very confusing. Hard for me to show. See, I want to like go the wrong way. There we go. But so this is on a US 6, this is on a US 7. I decided that the US 6 was more to my liking, and I hope that that is the appropriate choice. I've noticed over the years that I have become a looser knitter. And I don't know if that's like just relaxing or what, but my knitting has become looser over time. Let's see. Sorry, I always have to read the chat. I feel like I'm a slow reader. I see someone else cast on early. I love all of you that are like, I'm not swatching. More power to you. I used to also be that person. But I've become, like I said, I feel like my tension has changed and now I swatch. The project is the swatch always. That's me for like socks, hats, anything small. I don't bother swatching. Mo has broken her Brusca. Yeah, I have to say that like I really like the feel of the Brusca and it washes to become really soft, but I think the wool it's made with has a very short staple length. At least that's my feeling of it. And so it doesn't handle too much tension very well. Um, and also I said this before in a video, it has a lot of VM or like hay plant matter in it. So yeah. But yeah, so that's I've made some progress. I'll show it again because I didn't hold it up for very long, but it has a little, oh gosh, I'm doing that thing where I don't know which way to go. There it has this little I-cord edge, and you can see my provisional there. Those, oh my gosh, I can't do it. There we go. The little bumps. So I'll pick up those bumps eventually, but it seems pretty simple. This room has definitely Sophie scarf vibes. So if you've made that pattern, this I think will feel familiar to you if you're like a newer knitter. Um, yeah. Yeah. Liking oversized things definitely helps if you don't like to swatch. I also make everything oversized. So then, yeah, there's a lot of safety net kind of things there, I would say. And I think I will do some knitting while we continue to talk. Of course, now it's all tangled. I will say that it's so nice to have a yarn that is already balled up. Um, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I was talking to Caleb this morning about how it's so hard for me to get a project, like any kind of project started. Like starting is the hardest part for me. And so sometimes if something is in Hanks and I have to wind cakes, then I feel like it's a barrier to getting started even more. So I love when I have a yarn that's in balls because then I can just, yeah, not have to think about that. Are you planning on lightly felting your vest in the end? It depends. I initially was, yes, and I slightly felted my first swatch, but now because I size down and needle, it's gonna depend on how big it is. So if I feel like it is safe to lightly felt it, I will. If I feel like it is not, I probably will not. Yeah, I always procrastinate the cast on too. I'm like that where it's like I don't even know why, like, it's some psychological thing where it's just so incredibly hard for me to get started. Even if it's something I really wanna do, like, starting is so difficult, and then once I start, I, like, can't stop. So, I don't know what that says, but yeah, it just any barrier to starting will make it even harder for me to get going. But I'm loving the color I chose. I'm, like, really pleased with that. I'm so excited to see what other people have picked for yarns. Like, I've seen some of what you guys are posting. Some of you also have Brusca in different colors, which is super exciting. And then I know Madison is knitting with handspun. I know so I'm so bad at remembering who's who, but someone else is making, at least one other person is making a handspun version, maybe two of you or more. And that's really exciting. I feel like if I like this pattern, I would definitely consider making a handspun version. I think it would be conducive to that. It's like a nice weight to spin and a medium quantity of yarn. Yeah, swatching for a yarn substitution, that's 100%. I think that's how I got started swatching was when I started making things not with the designer's yarn. I have to mark down my rows. Thrifted wool, yay. I love finding thrifted yarn. It's not always that easy. Or, I mean, of course, you can find tons of synthetic yarn at the thrift, but for wool, sometimes it's harder. Though I have had some good scores, including a single ball of Jameson's of Shetland Spindrift. That was like my best thrift yarn find ever. I couldn't believe my eyes. Couldn't get gauge with the hand spun, so using Rauma. That's something that I pointed out in my video too, which I'll say here is that Brusca is listed as a worsted weight, but I really feel like that's being generous. Like it's much more, I would say, DK weight. I haven't measured it or like looked at a chart, but just hand feel, it feels much finer than a worsted weight. Yeah, finding actual wool at the thrift store is like finding gold. It's true. Oh yeah, I'll have to go. Excuse me. I'll have to go on Ravelry and look again at the project page. That's like one of my favorite activities. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but I love going to a pattern and then looking at all the ones people have made. I think it's so fun because then you get like more ideas. And I don't know. I don't, not that I'm not a creative person, but I feel like uh I don't know. Sometimes I don't think outside the box. Maybe. Ooh, black and yellow marled together will be so cool. I do feel like this is the kind of pattern that it's pretty simple, so I feel like there's, like, so many different things you could do, like, once you made like, I feel like it lends itself to making more than one, I guess is my point. So, yeah, I've done 21 rows, so or 22 so far, um, and I feel like it's growing pretty quickly, which is nice. I'm kind of looking forward to having a single color project on the needles, like a single color garment. It's been a while since I've done anything like that. Not since I did the Audrey and Unst vest. Ooh, Annie says adding pockets. I think that's super exciting. I think I saw one. I don't know if it was in the projects page or on Instagram or what, where someone put patch pockets on. And that was really cute. I am planning on making the short version. I am a cropped girly all the way. I feel like I never make anything long. But that's also just mainly because I'm wearing pants right now. I'm wearing overalls, which is a rare occurrence, but I wear mainly skirts and dresses and they all hit, kind of at my natural waist. And so I like these to be shorter because otherwise it does that weird thing where it like, I don't know, just hits me in a weird place. But yeah, I'm a little nervous about yarn quantity. I have 6 balls of Brusca, so they're 50-gram balls, right? It has to be. They're too small to be anything else. Um, so that's only 300 grams of yarn for a vest. Maybe it's okay. It feels like not enough. I have to remember to not forget my increase. I won't notice until later. I'll be like, "Oh no, I made a mistake when I was streaming." Have I chosen my buttons? Absolutely not. I wish I was that person. I haven't even really decided like what kind of buttons I want. Um, I I don't I actually kind of think it would be really fun to make a video showing you guys, but I have like a giant, giant button collection. I think I showed it once in a like craft video, in a sewing video, or like parts of my button collection, but I have so many vintage buttons. I think I have 4 generations worth. Like I have my great grandmother's buttons, and then my grandmother's, and then my mom's. And I also have inherited some collections from like friends or people have given me vintage buttons. So I have a lot of them, but there's usually not very many of one kind. This, I think, only needs 4. Yeah, 4 buttons for the short version. So that's kind of exciting because I feel like I might have more choices. Like the last few things I've made or have been or am making needed like 7 or 8, which finding that many of the same is not like going to happen. But I will look in my button collection first. And then if I don't find anything, I will buy some. Oh, that's so cute. I have plain metal buttons, but I want motorcycle themed buttons for the pockets. That's so cute. It's gonna be like kind of a motorcycle vest. I love that. Oh my gosh. Hand knit letter is saying, I want to see your button collection. When I used to go to my grandmother, that's all I would do is dig through the buttons. I have such like fond and distinct childhood memories of going through the button boxes, both at my grandmother's house and then just with my mom. One time, so yeah, I don't know if I've ever really mentioned this on stream, but or not on stream, but at all in a video. But I was like, my parents were divorced from the time I was very young, so I was raised by both of my parents, but as single parents essentially. And so obviously, my mom and I are very close, and we, hung out all the time when I was a kid. One on one. And yeah, I grew up kind of rurally. And so it was just us in the house a lot. And so, this was also pre internet. Remember that? I'm sure all of you are around my age or older. So you remember that. But my mom and I would, watch TV and then just do some kind of activity. And I remember we one time went through all of the button boxes and sorted the buttons by color. And even to this day, one of the button collections is sorted in zippy plastic bags by color, which is actually great. Like, I'm so happy that we did that one time because it makes looking for buttons about 100 times easier. But yeah, core memory for sure is going through the button boxes. Do you feel like the buttons have like a very distinct smell? That's maybe this is like weird. I feel embarrassed saying that, but I feel like all boxes or tins of vintage buttons have this like smell. I don't know if it's like plastic off gassing, but it's a nostalgic smell to me. There's a crafts. Oh my gosh. They sell bulk scoops of buttons. Yeah, that would be, I would love that. I feel like I could spend hours there. There's one thrift store by us that has like a lot of, well, there's also, we have a specific like craft thrift store, but there's another thrift store that has a big craft section and they have buttons, but I think they're not loose. Like they only have ones on cards, which is probably more practical, but less fun to go through. Love my grandma. Wanted to eat the buttons. I know some of them like have that deliciousness to them. I mean, I was pregnant, so it's very possible buttons don't happen for a long time. That's something that I think must be so hard as a knitter and, having pregnancies is then, like, yeah, do you make things for your body in its pregnant state or not and or both? I don't know. Yes. Kayla says buttons do have a smell just how every Goodwill ever has the same smell no matter where it is. It's so true. Like every thrift store, every charity shop, they all have like just a certain smell. Um, and it's not a smell you can say. It's just the smell, the thrift store smell. Yeah, maybe not practical to dig through the giant bin of buttons. It is funny to like think about all the buttons in the world and like the way that now we don't like in the past buttons were sort of precious and if you were going to like send clothes to the rag bin you would cut the buttons off and keep them and now I feel like that's not as much of a thing. um I have been known to take buttons off of things for sure. Your vest will be oversized postpartum, yeah. That's not bad though. I feel like this is a good garment for that. And yeah, if you decided it wanted to be smaller, you could felt it more. That would be an option, I think, too. Wait, I think I missed something. Sorry, I feel like I can be slow on the chat sometimes. So if I miss your message, I also put the chat on like a slower mode so that I don't miss things. I'm sorry if that's frustrating for you guys. Yeah, so one thing I did, I don't know, let's see, there's 38 of you here. We're about 20 minutes in. Maybe now would be a good time. I was thinking, I meant to say this at the beginning. I was thinking maybe I'd stream for like about an hour and hope you guys, that's like a fun hangout. I said I was going to make baked goods, but I didn't. I just have a cup of chai in my Moomin mug and some water. But one thing I did want to reveal is the prizes I have so far. I don't know if there's going to be more prizes. But right now I have, I think what it will break out to be for 5 winners. So the first thing is that I will draw 3 winners for digital patterns. Like I'll buy you the pattern of your choice and that I'll just do that. I think that's an easy thing. And we all have patterns in our wish list. So, and it's always so exciting. Like I have a wish list up for people to contribute to my channel. And whenever you guys buy me a pattern, it's like so exciting. But I also have a prize that was donated and a prize pack that I'm putting together. So I guess here, I'll talk about the one that was donated first. It is in paper wrapping, so maybe it's crinkly. But my good friend on here, her name is Kate. Her art and business is called The Moon in the Furrow. I'm going to type that into the chat right now so you guys can find her. I highly, highly recommend her page, her art, everything that she does is awesome. But without even asking, she offered to donate a prize for the KAL, which is just like the sweetest thing ever. And it came a little while ago and I have it here. So I thought I'd show you guys what is in that prize because it would be exciting to win. I'm going to take it out of this paper wrapping just because, my goodness, that is crinkly. Okay, so it is a super generous, there we go, a super generous like collection of items. And so Kate is an artist. She does both digital and traditional art. And so the first item is her 2026 calendar, which is so beautiful. I can show you on the back the pieces. Oh my gosh, moving the wrong way. There we go. And these are all a collection. She did a show and they are Wheel of the Year themed and element themed, and they're so beautiful. She also sent me my own version of that calendar, which I thought was so sweet. I have her calendar from last year up on the wall, or this year, I don't know, 2025 on the wall now. And then she also included 2 of her cards and the zines that go with them. So, and I love these. I actually, no, this one. I have this one, whoops, the glare, on my fridge right now because it feels super witchy and fall themed. It's the Witch's Kitchen. And this one is the Wise Woman's Kitchen. And then the last thing is, I think this is also the Witch's Kitchen, but it's a tea towel. I don't know, you probably can't read that, but her tea towels are great. I have one as well somewhere. I don't know where it is, probably in the kitchen. But yeah, that is like an awesome prize. So one of you will win that. And I will put up the details for submitting your projects. I think I typed it in some comments, but if you haven't seen, my plan is to do email submissions. So I'll just make up like a little list. Like it'll just be like your name, a couple pictures, what yarn you use, something like that. And um, yeah, just it has to be 80% done. That's the only thing that I'm asking is that by January 15th, it's 80% done. And then I will draw winners. And yeah, if you are someone and you want to donate a prize, just send me an email. Um, that's are always looking for more prizes. Then I am also donating a prize pack, and I thought more of it was going to be here by now, but yeah, I just was stupid and didn't think about it. So I'll tell you about it though. And then I'll show if there's yarn involved, and I'll show the yarn when it comes. So the first thing is I am donating this copy of Gudrun Johnson's book, The Shetland Trader. You guys know how much I love this book. I've made multiple patterns out of this book. I love Gudrun's designs. There we go. And I just think this is a great book. And I bought this a while ago because, of course, Pom Pom has gone out of business, or mostly out of business. I saw that they're putting out a crochet book, so I don't know what that's about, but um, they did a big sale on their leftover publications. And so I bought this at like a very reasonable price. And I was going to do it as a giveaway when we hit 3K, which we just did. But I think it will be cuter to give it as a KAL prize. And I'm going to be including with this enough yarn to make a Tara shawl. So you guys know how much I love that. And here I'll show you the Tara page if I can. And I chose colors. Here she is. Here's our girl, Tara. There's that shawl. You guys have seen it 100 times because I made 3. But the yarn I picked, I tried to choose. I was going to buy the like sample colors, but the woolly thistle was sold out of some of the sample colors. So I made some substitutions, but it's close to the sample colors that Gudrun has chosen. And so, yeah, that will be the prize that I'm contributing. It will be the Shetland Trader Volume 3 and the yarn to make a Tara. I just thought it was appropriate and fun. And yeah, so those are the things you stand to potentially win. Yeah, Kate's art is so incredible. And like her attention to detail is just like amazing. And she's just like the coolest person. Like she makes, like she does tons of like sustainable living and gardening and like, I don't know, homesteady stuff. I don't know what you want to call it. Like my life kind of. um, hold on, I'm reading. Yes, now you have more motivation to make things, and I will just ship these wherever. Like if you live across, as long as I am able to. Um, if for some reason I can't ship to your country, I don't know why that would be. Like I'm just gonna pay for it. I don't care. I'm an Instagram hater, so I'm happy you're doing email submissions. Yeah, that's why I'm doing it that way because I see a lot of times that for a KAL, you have to like put up photos on Instagram and make sure they're tagged and all this stuff. And I just think that, I don't know, it just seems, first of all, it seems really hard on my end to find all the submissions now that Instagram is doing weird things with hashtags. And then, yeah, if you don't want to have social media, you shouldn't have to have social media. Obviously, I'm like adhered to my phone at all times, but I totally understand why you might not want to, especially with Meta and kind of like that whole thing. But yeah, and emails will be so easy for me because then I can just like put them all in a folder and find them. So many people are saying that this is their first KAL, and that like makes me so happy because obviously it's my first time hosting, and I'm sure I will not be the greatest host. Which that brings me to another thing. Um, Yeah, would you guys like, because I'm seeing, okay, there's 39 people here right now. That's like reasonable. That is not a crazy amount of people. would you, any of you or some of you be interested in doing a Zoom for like the midway point? So that would be sometime in December, I guess, yeah, like mid-December, which maybe is a weird time because of holidays, but it also could be fun, maybe. Um, and we could do a Zoom and everybody could like show where they are on their project. That sounds fun to me. So hold on, can I put up a poll? Start a poll here. Midway Zoom question mark. There you go. So yeah, you guys can vote in that poll. Um, I think it would be fun. I know like the Woolly Thistle for their KALs, they do Zooms and I love going to them. I am a little nervous about hosting a Zoom, but it can't be that hard. It's, that's like my entire life mentality and it gets me into a ton of trouble where my whole everything, I'm always like, oh, that can't be that hard. I can do that. And then yeah, I'm doing something insane. But I feel like a Zoom actually is not that hard. Um, Hold on. I'm reading what someone is saying. Yay, people are saying yes to a Zoom. Oh, and wait, here, this one says, love email submission. Where do we find your email address? It is in the description of not every video, but at least the last 3 or 4. I made sure to put it there so you can find it. And it is just, I can also just write it here. It's Caprine Cottage, oops, farm at Gmail. Let me make sure I spelled that right. Yes, that is my email. You can, yeah, it's not that hard, but it can be overwhelming. A Zoom, yeah, I feel like managing it. But also maybe it's easier in a way because like when I'm on stream, I have to just like thank goodness for the chat. Like all of you in the chat, thank you so much for messaging because I think yeah, I need something to like riff on because it's just like I'm alone in my house just sitting here. I have to think of things to say. So I appreciate the chat. But on a Zoom, then you guys can also be sharing. Um Wait, Kayla says, I think I already messed up. Little square has I cord on one side on the left, but then there is an I cord on the wrong side on the right too. Mine has an I cord on both sides. Oops. Oh gosh. Yeah, there is an I cord on both sides. There's aha. Also, yeah, I'm sorry if the quality is not great. I have to stream on my very old laptop. It's, I don't know, it's over 10 years old at this point. You guys are giving me some confidence about Zooming. I've attended like a million Zooms, like I've done different classes and all kinds of stuff on there. And it, like as a participant, it's not that hard. So yeah. Wait, why do you have to frog? I think it is supposed. Yeah, my I cord kind of faces the opposite directions on both sides. I don't know. She's saying I cord faces. Yeah, mine is, well, I don't know. It kind of wraps around the edge, but it is doing that thing where it's like, okay, obviously there's stitches in the middle, but like one is this way and one is like, they're like this on the edges. Oh my gosh, that's hard to demonstrate. Yeah, have a friend manage the admin. That's what I was thinking. Maybe someone can help me. Either someone like I could have an actual friend come over or virtually. Professor Stitchwitch says, "How is Feeny? Feeny is good. She she's actually been quiet. I thought she might be doing some banging. She does. I think what it is like she likes to climb. There's a partition wall in her room, and we keep the hay on the other side, and she likes to climb and like eat over the edge. So sometimes I think that's what the banging is. But she's being pretty chill. Yeah, she's silent right now. She's probably taking a nap. She was napping when I put her in her room, and then I gave her a bunch of hay to munch. But she's doing really well. She will be 2 years old in like a week, literally 1 week, I think, which is so insane. Um, yeah, her birthday is on the 23rd, so a week and 1 day. She'll be 2, my little tiny baby. Which, yeah, you guys haven't even really seen her baby pictures because they are some of them are a little grim, but I thought the same about my I-cord, but as you progress, it looks okay. Yeah, mine was a little funny in the beginning too, especially with the provisional edge. You can really see the way that it's like curling around the edges, but it's yeah, it settles itself out. But yeah, Feeny and I got to go for a walk yesterday for the first time in I think almost 2 weeks because I was sick for a week and it's been so rainy here. Like it's even right now, it's really gloomy. It's supposed to rain this afternoon. But yesterday it was at least partly sunny part of the day, which was it was so nice to just go outside. I feel like I've barely been outside in days. And I feel like it's like if I don't go outside or spend time like in nature at least for like some time, I don't know, it makes me like I need to be in the outside air. Checking my iCord now. Yeah, I guess I could keep working. Multitasking is hard. Knitting and talking and reading, but it's fun. The last time I did a stream, I felt like it was really fun. And I love that we're all doing the same thing. Also, yeah, I don't know. I'm saying like my iCord looks like this as if I know if I'm right. I didn't even think of that. Rusty has finished their swatch and now is felt going to felt. That's exciting. Definitely don't frog it. We'll be okay. Yeah, I don't know. I did notice, I don't know if you guys noticed too, but in the pattern, as you like on, I guess, what page is this? Page 4, there are some photographs to help with picking up stitches, and that helped me, um, I don't know, helped me feel like I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. I don't know. I actually talked about this in the video I just made, but I don't know. I sort of follow the pattern blindly. Like they always say, "Oh, like read the whole pattern, know what's gonna happen." It doesn't help me. Like I have to see it in my hands to have any idea of what's going on. And I don't maybe that comes with time, like you understand more things, but I don't know. I just have to do what it says and then be like, "Oh, okay, I think that's looks like what it's supposed to look like." I don't know. I feel like in general, that's like how I move through life. Like people the funniest thing is always when people ask me like, "Oh, do you know this road or do you know how to get to like this place to this place?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not. I follow the GPS completely blindly." I'm just so happy that we are past the time on like with maps, like the atlas in the car or then when we had MapQuest, like I'm so happy that we have technologically moved past that. I complain about technology all the time, but um, I love map technology. That sounds so nerdy. Wait, hold on, let's see. I've never once been able to read the instructions ahead of time before starting something. Yeah, me neither. Like even like I think of that all the time. I remember here's a tangent. I'm the queen of tangents, but I remember we had like technology class, which was kind of just shop class. I guess we learned other things, but our teacher gave us this test, right? And he said, you have to read the instructions first. And if you didn't read the instructions, you like, like the last instruction was like disregard all the instructions above this and only write your name or something. And it, was supposed to be some kind of lesson in like reading ahead. But I always think of that because I was like, that did not help me. I still can't like no, it's not my thing. 500 projects on Ravelry sounds like people had issues with picking up stitches. Yeah, I hope we can help each other with that too. Picking up stitches is stress inducing. Like the Puri Shop cardigan, that was the first garment that I had to pick up for a button band, and I was like sweating through that. Yeah, I have to read as I go. I agree. Yeah, I tried to read all the instructions and broke my brain. We'll see what happens. That's exactly how I feel. Oh my gosh, I agree too that I cords are magic. Like, I understand how it works, but it still is, like, every time I do something with an I cord, I'm like, "How is it doing it?" Also, yeah, I'm looking at the poll. 100% said yes to a Zoom. I'm gonna end the poll. So at least some of you that are here would attend my Zoom. 20 people. Half of you voted. Thank you for voting. I feel like I would like people who stream consistently, like, I don't know. It seems so fun, but I feel awkward also. Yeah, picking up stitches is rough, I think so. I did learn, oh gosh, I wish I had, I think it was a video that I watched, but it was about, it might have just been like a tutorial page. It was about the ratio for picking up stitches for a button band, and it was so, so helpful for me. It was about measuring, let me see if I can get this right. Measuring your row gauge and measuring your ribbon gauge and how to, like, do the math for them together so that you have the right pickup ratio for your button band, and that was so, so helpful for me because I feel like my brain works that, I know that not everyone is like this, but my brain works that way, like, if I can do the math, it helps me so much, to kind of, like, understand how it works more, like, that's just sort of the way my brain works, and that was so helpful for me. The other thing I've learned, and I do this a lot when I'll show you just on this because it's really easy, but I learned on for, like, picking up heels, heel flaps, is maybe actually using a swatch would work better. I learned this trick from a video online too, but if you need to pick up, say, 12 stitches, fold it in half, put a stitch marker in the middle, fold it in half again, and put stitch markers there. And so say you pick up 12 stitches, you know that in between each quarter, you only have to pick up 3. I think that's a really helpful tip. Oh no, you only have 50 grams left. Yeah, probably not enough, right? Yeah, I'm loving this color. This is so a me color. I think it will be very practical. Picking up stitches from the I cord, which I can't imagine. Yeah, I'm pretending. Bye, Kayla. See you later. Her little cutie woke up. But yeah, we'll meet on Zoom. That's exciting. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I said, we just have to pick up or do each part as we go and hope for the best. I know, like I started looking at, I guess I shouldn't show the pattern, but there's a picture of like, I assume we've all bought the pattern, but there's a picture of picking up stitches farther on that I was like, "Ugh, I'm going to ignore that and pretend I didn't see it for now." But yeah, I don't know. At least for now, it seems not too difficult. I do, one thing I was trying to figure out was what we were starting on because it just says cast on. It doesn't say like what part of the garment, but it's the back. Um, yeah, and then you pick up for your fronts. So, yeah, in case you were also, I had to read ahead for that. I guess I did read a little bit ahead. Um, yeah. The other thing I noticed that because I, of course, I like make tally marks to keep track of how many rows I've done. And of course, sometimes you forget, but I realized that because you're adding one stitch every single row, it's really easy to keep track. So you can just count your stitches and however many you have more than what you cast on. Excuse me. Yeah, that's how many rows you've done, at least for now in the beginning part. I also thought maybe I should say I'm making size 4. That's what size I am making, which is for a finished circumference of 45.2 inches. So that gives me about 3 inches of ease. Now I'm getting nervous that that's not enough. Hope for the best, especially because I sized down a needle size. Hopefully it'll be fine. I'm also making size 4. I feel like, oh my gosh, I think I'm still, because I was getting over being sick. I'm scratchy a little bit, but I feel like I am such truly a mid-sized person. Like I almost always make the center size of, like, this has 8 sizes and I'm making 4. trying to make between size 3 and 4. I know that's kind of how I feel like where maybe I'm like between size 4 and 5 because I don't want it to be too big, but I don't necessarily want it to be tight either. Hold on. I always have to read. It's not that hard to pick up from the what do you call it? The I-cord edge, someone is saying, which is I think that that's good to know. Yeah, I wanted to make size 5, but I'm playing yarn chicken, so I'm making size 4. That's kinda how I feel where I'm like, I know I bought the amount of yarn for size 4, and it doesn't feel like very much yarn, and that makes me nervous. Size 3 gives me 1 inch of ease, size 4 gives me 7. Yeah, that's a huge I do feel like there's kind of big, what do you call it? Like big jumps a bit between depending, I guess, on your bust size. I also never measured my shoulders. I said I was gonna do that because it said to measure your shoulders. So and it says 2 to 4 inches of positive ease, and that the size 4 gives me just 3. So I know sizing woes. And then I also feel like my swatches always lie. I feel like sometimes the prime example of this is actually from Gudrun's book. I made the Saurik smock, and my swatch is actually small for that, but the garment is big. And I feel like that happens to me sometimes. And I'm sure it has something to do with like the way your tension is when you're swatching versus when you're making a garment. But yeah, sometimes I just feel like the swatch lies anyway. It seems like we're all kind of making in the size 3 to 5-ish range, um, which is funny, or at least the people that are writing. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm sort of out of things to say, but we're at like 47 minutes. I thought we could just hang out until it's like an hour. I think that's a good amount of time. And then, yeah, if it's too big, you can always felt. That's what I'm thinking too, that like in a weird way, bigger is better. I don't know. It's so hard to know. Either way, we will end up with what we end up with. Corinne? I think it's Corinne is here. Hi, I'm so happy you're joining the KAL because I think you said it's your first KAL too. Yeah, Mo is saying make your swatch bigger than recommended. And I actually really agree with that. I'm not saying that I do that, but yeah, I think that I usually make around a 4 or 5 inch swatch, but I know that a lot of people say to make your swatch at least 6 inches square. I a lot of times don't have the patience for that, but I agree. I think that a lot of times, like especially like this, I feel like this swatch is a really good example of it where I can feel that the edges, like I think, well, I bet I could figure it out, which is my cast on and which is my cast off edge. Either way, I can feel that like near the cast on and cast off edge, the gauge is totally different than in the center. Um, and I think that that is like a good example of how having a bigger swatch is really helpful. Why swatches sometimes fail. I completely agree that, yeah, a bigger swatch, you're going to have way more information um, than with a smaller swatch. I wish my brain could math. I know. I feel like I have a very like mathematical brain, and I feel kind of like that fiber arts and math are deeply connected. And I'm so grateful that I think that way, but I know that that is not everybody's vibe. And I totally get it. I completely blame it on my dad. I get it from my dad. He has a very math brain and kind of like taught me from a young age, at least, to do basic math things. Yeah, mentally, and then just kind of went from there. It's another reason why I love weaving because that Not that I've done any weaving in years, but I like the math side of that a lot. But I found that as I do more knitting, the math of knitting has kind of seeped in for me. I know, not everybody's vibe at all. Yeah, garter stitch is so stretchy and asks totally different in every yarn. I totally agree with that. I think that I really like garter stitch. Like I love how it looks. I love how it feels, but it's a totally different animal than stockinette. Like it's a vibe, and it behaves very differently and stretches very differently. Um, but maybe that will be good for us if we're not so sure about yeah, how it is. I'm actually really curious about that. It must have been on the Woolly Thistle Shopcast. I'm assuming that is what Mo is saying. Um, Sometimes I feel like I start their videos and then I don't finish them because I feel like I've watched the last few. But that sounds really interesting, so I'll have to go seek it out, so to speak. I know. I feel like I never have time to watch as many knitting podcasts as I would like to, and I miss things. The squish is unmatched. I agree 100%. I love I love that like puffiness of garter stitch. Like it's so squishy. I feel like it does use more yarn though. I don't know if that's technically true. I feel like it has to be because I feel like it grows less fast. Oh, grammar is not my forte. But yeah, it grows slower. And obviously that like dimension this way means the yarn is not going this way. That's hard to demonstrate. Anyway, the thickness of it must get use up more yarn, but more warmth then maybe. It's like insulation, has a higher R value. That's what Caleb would say. I don't know if I've probably told you guys that before. That before we were farmers, Caleb was a builder or a carpenter. I don't know how you want to look at that. He definitely or did more wood based building than like he wasn't a mason or anything. But he knows all the things about building a house. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. Oh no, weaving takes math. I'm so sad now. It doesn't have to take math. I would say that you can weave without doing math. As long as like if you just buy like you have a loom, you buy a weaving kit, you do the set they say to do, you don't really need to understand the math. If you want to make your own designs, you need to understand the math, maybe. Also, if you're doing like a rigid heddle loom, I feel like you don't need as much math. I'm also not at all good at that. Like I am still a beginner weaver. And because I never seem to find the time to do it, I am still a beginner after many years. But also, I feel like if you're doing like, there's calculators to help you too. So you don't have to necessarily um, do the math yourself. I don't know. You're crushing the stream. Good luck with hosting. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. I feel like part of what I love about YouTube in general is editing. I actually love to do editing too. I think it's fun. But I also like that I can make myself sound more like well spoken. I feel like in general I'm kind of an awkward person and stumble on my words. So it's great to just be able to do multiple takes and choose the best one. But streaming is different because we're here together. Uh, but I think I probably will end unless I'll give you guys a minute. So if you have any other questions or things you want to put in the chat, now is your time because I'll probably end soon because I'm losing steam and getting silly. So yeah, I'll give you a couple minutes to put a couple anything else that you wanted to chat about, and then I will say goodbye. Go felt the swatch and do some math. That sounds like a good time. I'm true to my YouTube persona. I don't think that I could like I want to sound more like put together or cooler than I am, but inevitably the truth comes out. The clay school has weaving classes. That's awesome. I need to look into that. So yeah, I live Mo is local to me in real world, and we live near the city of Ithaca, and they have a really cool like it's a potter studio that you can become a member, and they also do classes like pottery classes. But Mo is saying they have weaving classes, and I that must be new or newish. Um, so I have to look into that because that would be fun. I know too, I don't know if anyone else in the stream is local, but Gorgeous Fiber Arts does weaving classes. And I've been wanting to take them, but time and money. You feel like you're being called to weave, do it, do it. I'm such a bad influence. My good fiber arts friend, she is primarily a weaver, and that's how I got into weaving. I had like just a little thrifted rigid heddle loom, and she was like, "Oh, do you know there's like great Facebook Marketplace fiber arts supply groups that you can get like looms for really cheap?" And yeah, it's a slippery slope. I have multiple floor looms now, and just like so much other stuff from Facebook Marketplace. Yay, Madison says, hopefully I can get a finished skein done so I can cast on. So exciting. Okay, Clay School has rigid heddle and Gorgeous has floor looms. That's exciting. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. I guess I will stop rambling soon-ish, maybe now-ish. Had a loom gifted to me. Awesome gift. I think the winter is great um, for weaving because it's just like kind of a cozy activity. Keep that orange hat close. Yeah, if any others of you are in New York, it is hunting season. I have been hearing shots all week. I wore my orange hat out yesterday. Yeah, it's definitely that time. I noticed the deer are really moving around. I'm so happy you guys had fun. I think streaming is kind of fun, but also kind of awkward. Yeah, it was a cozy. It's definitely like cozy to just kind of hang out together on these gloomy late fall days. Okay, I'm going to end the stream now. So, thank you again so much for everybody that attended. And I'm so excited. We're all knitting this together. And I will make sure to communicate when we decide to do the Zoom. So, thank you guys. I appreciate you so, so much. I can't believe there's 3K subscribers on YouTube. It's just really, I'm so grateful for all of you. So, I hope you have a great, whatever time it is to you. I was going to say, rest of your afternoon, but some of you it's like nighttime. So, whatever time of day it is, I hope you have a great rest of that time. And we will talk real soon. Bye bye.